Hey, buds, guys, people who are acquainted with me. We have an awesome episode lined up for you. We talk with the host of Don't Tell My Mom podcast, Hunter. Hunter also hooked it up with the promo for his podcast, so please check it out.
Hi, everyone. My name's Hunter with the Don't Tell My Mom podcast. You can check out the Don't Tell My Mom podcast every week on Spotify. We post new episodes when we stay on top of it. In fact, here's a clip. We don't have a clip? Oh. Okay. Well, anyway, be sure to check it out. We talk about anything from sticking candy up your butt to racist Donkey Kong to more. Even conspiracy theories. Who knows if Joe Biden's going to live this long? Who knows? Anyway, check us out on Spotify and on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Don't Tell My Mom podcast. There's no slogan.
Guys, there's no sponsors today or tomorrow, so we're just going to get right into the episode. So everybody, please meet Hunter. Welcome. Behind the behind. Welcome. What's your story? Behind the behind. You're a hero. Welcome. Where are we going? Behind the what? Behind the behind. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Behind. I am Sydney, your host, and I am joined by a really awesome person. He's a comedian. He has his own podcast, and he's just a very funny dude to talk to. Hunter, would you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yeah, thank you for that. That was, you kind of buttered me up there. I wasn't expecting all that. So my name's Hunter. I do stand up locally in North Carolina. I guess I'm funny in some aspects. I do have my own podcast. I technically have two podcasts, but one of them is terrible. My main podcast is Don't Tell My Mom podcast. I don't know if I'm allowed to plug, but I just did.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So it's Don't Tell My Mom podcast. It's really stupid. We just talk about anything and we go off on tangents, and it's usually while we're drinking.
That's awesome. What's the other one?
It's called It's Real to Me. It's a wrestling podcast because I'm 25 and I still watch wrestling. So me and a buddy.
I love the title.
I couldn't think of anything else, so I was like, "Yeah, I'll argue about it. It's real to me." It's really stupid too because the guy I do it with never is on, and he's always like, "Oh, I'm working," and I'm like, "Well, that's not really how this stuff kind of works." So, and then that usually goes off on tangents too about like it'll get serious about wrestling, and then it turns into, yeah, that one girl's really hot and she's a good wrestler. That's kind of what it turns into.
I constantly think of that video of the guy in the bleachers. He's like, "It's real to me." He's like crying.
That's kind of where I got it from, because I was like, we were thinking of something, and I was like, we could do like the Marks, or we could do something like that. But then every wrestling podcast has something to do with like calling each other Marks and all other stuff. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna call it It's Real to Me. Because we watch it, we're adults. It is real to me.
Yeah, man, dude, it's so entertaining. I'm not a big like wrestling fan, but when I do watch it, I'm like, this is pretty cool. I could sit down. I can go to a live event and feel satisfied that I went.
Yeah, it's a male soap opera. You know, there's love interest. There's backstabbing. There's murder sometimes, and is that they dispute it with physical violence as opposed to like, buying each other's companies or whatever else they do in soap operas. I've only seen like 3 soap operas when I was growing up as a child, so I'm not really sure exactly what they do. But wrestling-wise, they hit each other with chairs.
Yeah, I love it. So, being a stand-up comedian, what made you want to hurt yourself in that capacity?
I kind of get that from everyone. When you're growing up and stuff, they're like, "Oh wow, you're really funny. You should try stand-up. Oh wow, you're super funny. You should try stand-up." And at the end of it, you're like, sure, I'll go to an open mic. But when I started, I didn't do an open mic. I did North Carolina's funniest competition, which is pretty much, hey, give us $25, even if you're not that funny. And I went up there and I didn't go to any new rounds, but I had a really good joke about my dad not being there when I was young. So that kind of went over. And I was like, oh, well, people laugh at this. I'm sure I could do this a couple more times. So I just started doing more open mics and bars and stuff. And that same joke has been implemented in every stand-up act I've ever done.
That's awesome. No, that's really good. I've done one open mic and I was really, really drunk. And I just ended up making fun of people in in the crowd, and it wasn't great. And
Hey,
I
a
was
little
like,
crowd works hard. That's not a bad thing. Open mics suck.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they're fun to watch because nothing's more fun than watching people be in the most awkward state.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, the thing about open mics too is when people go to open mics, they're not going to be like, "Hey, let's go watch some comedy tonight." They're going to be like, "Let's get drunk and watch people be dumb." When they go to a real comedy show or like a contest, they're like, "I know I'm gonna laugh." When you go to open mic, people are like, "Dude, I'm just here. It's fucking Tuesday afternoon. I have nothing else going on. Make
They
me
got dollar
laugh."
wells.
Yeah, exactly. The Yinglings are like half price, bud. Just come on. Exactly how it
Nice.
is.
Who are your like main comedy influences?
Um, I really enjoy. So my type of humor is like dark and dry for the most part, but I really love like Big J Okerson. I love Anthony Jeselnik.
Mm.
If you like dark stuff, he's great for that. Dry wise, Mitch Hedberg always
Oh yeah.
perfect. I like a lot of the other comedians that haven't done well for themselves in the limelight, like Louis C.K. and stuff like that. But if you're funny, I'm gonna laugh. It doesn't matter to me what the joke is. So if it's funny, I'm gonna laugh, which people don't like. But
Yeah. I'm a big Mike Birbiglia fan.
yeah, he's really good.
His yeah, his stories, like the way he makes his specials consist around a single story
The Jackal.
and then just tangents of that story. And then
Hmm.
usually the story is like super sad.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. It's
like
always like depression. You're like, should I be laughing at this or do you need help? Like,
yeah, who do you need help? Blink twice, man.
is there someone with a gun behind the curtain?
What's your biggest reason for wanting to do a podcast?
um, I have some friends that do a podcast. B3F. They're gonna kill me if I don't say that. But I kind of just I've always loved listening to like radio and stuff. Like I mentioned Big J Okerson. He has a radio show called The Bonfire. I love listening to comedy and stuff, and I feel like there's a lot of things people say when they're not recorded or when they're just kind of vamping that's really funny. And that's what I love about podcasts is because it's just you and I having a conversation, throwing in jokes and talking and stuff. And especially nowadays with the pandemic going on and stand up's not really happening anymore. So why can't I just sit around in my living room with a couple of friends and just be stupid? And if people listen and think it's funny, then that's great. And if not, then I have all these recordings I can go back and listen to that I think are hilarious.
Yeah, it's your own personal catalog at that point. That's nice.
Exactly.
That's kind of why I did this whole thing as well. I originally started it as like a D&D thing. I was just going to interview people who were DMs,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, man, I'm interested in so much more than just that. And so I had a politician on yesterday. I had a
Oh,
music
jeez.
composer in film. He had 2 Emmys. I was like, how am I like I'm way too interested in way too many things that I could not make a career out of it unless I just made the career of talking to them. That's the only I can't focus. I can't focus on just one thing. I'll go crazy.
Right. And I get that because I'm kind of the same way with like business and everything else. Like, oh, I'd love to run a store where I sell comic books, but at the same time, I'd love to sell cars. Or I'd love to do this or do that. So I totally get
Yeah.
that. You said you just had a guest on. You had a politician and then an Emmy winner.
Yeah, I had an Emmy winner for music composing for film, and we ended up talking about Star Trek. Like, it was
Interesting.
absolutely a blast, you know?
Well, this episode's definitely gonna be downhill from there. So just to let you
Yeah,
know.
no, man, I'm actually really happy because I feel like you and I have like the same kind of mindset when it comes to just life in general, and we're
Right.
probably like near the same stage as well. I'm like 1,000 years older than you, but that's okay, you know. I look
That's
younger.
fair.
I I constantly wonder if podcasting isn't like a job. It's definitely a hobby,
Right.
and I know a lot of people get into it like, oh, I'm gonna try to make it famous or try to make it, and that's gonna pay my bills and stuff. But I think that's the wrong mindset to have because you're setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment.
Yeah. Very much
What
so.
would what would be your number one uh, advice to give somebody who's thinking about starting a podcast?
um, don't spend a lot of money like I did. You can get a really good mic for like $100 and then just use your computer.
Mhm.
um, but honestly, I mean, I'll give the kind of cookie cutter answer that's not the same. But honestly, it's just something you have to do. I spent a lot of time just kind of googling like, hey, how to start a podcast, how to do this, how to do that, and I spent all that time. And it was like, find out your theme, find out this, find out that. Like, forget all that. Just if you like something like you said with Dungeons and Dragons or Star Trek or whatever, comedy. Find something you like. There's podcasts out there that for like our TV shows that aren't even on the air anymore because it's stuff people like, and there's millions of people that go in and listen to them. So I would just say, do it. It's like comedy, just do it. People are going to laugh at you, but that's kind of how life is. It doesn't matter. We'll all be dead in 60 years anyway. Who cares?
I love it. It's cynical but also positive. What's one of like the big hurdle that you've had to overcome to get to where you are right now?
I mean, I'm not really anywhere, but I would say just kind of getting it done. Um, there's a lot of times where I'll be like, okay, I need to do an episode. I try to put an episode every week, which is really hard to do, especially when it's hard to find guests or it's hard to like figure out what you want to talk about or things like that. So I would say just kind of having the time to put out episodes like I need to, whether it's just me talking, which I've done before. I got really drunk one night on whiskey and called it the whiskey tapes, and was just talking for like
Yeah,
30 minutes. Um, so I would say just kind of finding the time to get with people and do episodes.
I'm not gonna lie. It's probably like my favorite episode that you have right now.
I don't know why I did it. I think I talked about like how to make money on OnlyFans or how to be a better porn star. I don't know.
Dude, it's a podcast within a podcast. You did it.
Exactly. I'm Leonardo of the podcast.
There we go. I absolutely love it, man. I listened to, I think I've listened to almost all of them except your newest one. I listened to the one with your brother, and your title is "Don't Tell My Mom" podcast, which is awesome because my mom's in the other room. She's visiting for the weekend, and there I as I'm an adult. I'm a man, and
Right.
there are still some things I don't want to have to discuss, with your mom. So
Exactly.
are you at one point in time like worried that your mom's gonna like look up your stuff and possibly listen to it?
No, she doesn't really know how, so I'm not really worried about that. But I did find out the pastor, the church I used to go to, that they still go to, found it and listens to it, and so she's very embarrassed by me because I like cuss on there and I talk about, um, like if Donkey Kong was in the KKK and stuff like that. Um, but that was a great song we did too. But no, I mean, if she finds it, she finds it. It's not like I'm gonna go and delete it. She knows that I kind of do this, and she knows it's stupid. She's more upset that I bring my little 15-year-old brother on and have him cuss and talk about like candy bars going up your butthole and stuff. Um, but she kind of knows what it is.
Dude, that's beautiful. It's like, I don't know. I get like why parents like can like have like those limitate like they want to put limitations on things, but once your
hmm
kid goes off and flies, you just gotta let them.
Yeah, my mom's had 4 kids, and it's kind of dwindled down in expectations. So she's kind at this point, she's kind of like she's like lets it happen. She wish it wouldn't happen, but she knows that like this is it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I get you. I was an only child until my mom married my stepdad, who had 2 kids, and I
Mm.
think I was 15, maybe 16. So I kind of grew up as an only child, and I still kind of have that only child feeling. Though my stepbrother is my best friend, we definitely feel like they got married so that we can meet. So it's
Oh,
a little gay too. It's nice. It's
I mean, you're not really related, so I mean, you know.
exactly true. We actually had a prank that we were gonna do. We decided against it, that we were gonna come home because we both went to Austin for school, two different
hmm
schools, but we both lived in Austin. And when we come home for Christmas or Thanksgiving, we are gonna come home and like start holding hands and let them know, like, hey, we started seeing each other. Started seeing each other. I thought it was gonna be genius, but I think they would have cried. I think our parents would have cried, and then I would have felt bad.
Yeah, I get that. It also would have been bad if like one of you between the two of you, like one of you got really super into it, and we're like, oh, we could also like kiss on the cheek and stuff, and then you're like, well, we were just gonna do the holding hands thing, but I mean, we could, I guess. Then you're like, okay, he
Yeah.
definitely wants to fuck me. Um,
And
well, you know what they say about Austin?
then
There's only
20 years
steers and
later, I'm
queers.
starting to think he's really gay.
Yeah, once you're like, holding hands, looking in the eyes and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, no, I that would be hilarious. I can't do that with any of my siblings because they wouldn't think that would be funny. I would think it'd be hilarious, but
Right. And I mean, I we're also at this day and age where comedy is like the most critiqued thing. I feel, people are starting to
yeah,
get offended by things that aren't real, and so you have to
yeah,
like go along
yeah.
with it until everybody evens out. I feel.
You can't make joke. There's no such thing as a joke anymore. It's all like let's say if I told you a joke about a certain race of people or whatever, and you laugh and I laugh, and the person in that race laughs, it doesn't matter because someone on Twitter or someone in other social media is going to stick up for them. By the way, it's always white people that get offended for everyone else. I'll say that. I'll take that
Yeah.
stance. But it's always analyzed. They'll go, "Oh, well, you said this about this person, so that obviously means that you are racist or you're sexist or you're, whatever."
You're something. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, it's a fucking joke. Like, or like, if you didn't experience it, you can't make a joke about it. Like, shut up, stop talking.
Yeah.
You can't make a joke because you're not funny. That's the problem. It's the same
Right.
reason I'm not in porn. I don't have a big dick.
No.
But yeah, comedy is one of those things. Like it used to be. Like if you go back and watch a lot of people that are in the limelight now, like Eddie Murphy and stuff. If you go watch like his original comedy stuff, if he did that today, they would be like crucifying him in the streets because you can't make jokes
Oh
about gay
yeah.
people. You can't say that word. You can't do this. And it's like comedy and it's just like wrestling. It's supposed to be your escape from the real world. Like we know that when someone gets body slammed or when someone like gets punched in the face on wrestling, you're like, okay, obviously that hurt, but it's one of those things where like this is my escape. I want to watch two people go at it and beat each other up. It's the same thing with comedy. Like whatever your viewpoints are on politics, whatever your viewpoints are on religion or whatever, like there's people that are going to laugh. There's Republicans that laugh at Republican jokes, and there's leftists that laugh, or Democrats that laugh at Democrat jokes. But when you have those people that are like, "Oh, you can't make fun of that. That's not fair." Like, if I can't make fun of this, where does the line end that I can't make fun of anything? Because then we're just telling jokes that are just me saying, "This is a joke. This is the punchline. Here you go."
Dude, that's right on the money. And man, I don't even want to argue about it with people anymore. I just sigh. It's just a long
Yeah, like dude, just admit you're not funny and move on. Like I'm hilarious. People laugh at it. Shut up.
exactly. And it's all subjective. If you don't like something, just don't listen to it. I don't understand why that's so hard.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing too. People like because there's a lot of stuff I don't like or I might not find it funny, but I understand like that's your art form. That's what you think is funny. I'm not gonna go on Twitter and be like, "Oh, this is trash. You're garbage." Blah blah blah. Other than I just recently said Eminem's new out music was garbage. So if someone tries to call me a hypocrite on that, but other than that, like I'm not gonna go and do that. I'm just gonna be like, okay, cool. I won't watch it or I won't listen to it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna bitch and moan about it.
And I don't think Eminem's even going to see what you wrote.
I think that, but he's kind of crazy, so I don't know. I'm
That's
a little
true.
worried to leave my room. He might be under my bed at any point, so he would be the one I know that he'd be like, at my door one day, and I'm like, oh shit, like dude, it's not that serious. I'm sorry.
he's he's going to do a diss track about you and he's going to expect one back.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to now. I have to fucking diss rap Eminem. Um, so my career's over.
It's okay. You're on the winning side. I don't think it's very hard to diss track against Eminem. He makes it pretty easy. I love Eminem, but man, when you get into so many feuds, it's like you're almost the Donald Trump of rap music.
Well, you can kind of take like, there's been so many raps against him and stuff that like some are good, some are bad. Just take all those lines and add them into one song, and then you've got everything. You get
Yeah.
everything you need, and then you're good.
So I'm gonna rewind time a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm influenced by a lot of '90s shows. Those were my. That's how I was raised. I was raised by TV, and my
Mm-hmm.
mom had to work a lot of jobs to make sure that I could breathe air. And
Right.
I want to know, what is it that helped raise you?
um, a serious answer, my mom. But a funny answer, Rugrats. Geez, let's see what else. I didn't find internet porn for a while, so not that. Um, I grew up a lot with my older sister too, which is hilarious because now my taste in music's nothing but like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Um, but I watched a lot of TV growing up. I actually go back and now and I watch like complete seasons of shows I used to watch, like Rocket Power. I think I'm naming like all Nickelodeon shows. But Full House, Yes Dear. I used to watch like a lot of comedy growing up, like the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. Um, and then just video games. Sega Genesis pretty much raised me too. So Mortal Kombat.
Oh, oh, my bad. I didn't know I was talking to a rich kid. All
Oh,
the rich
whoa,
kids
you
I knew
know.
had the Sega, and I just had the Super Nintendo.
I mean, we might have got it from a thrift store, but whatever. I didn't mean to flex on you like that. I apologize. Came on your own podcast and just talk down to you like that.
I'm not gonna lie though, the Sega Genesis had some dope games, man. All I wanted to do as a kid was play Sonic, and all I could play was Mario. And now I go back and I'm like, nah, Mario is the champion.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but Sonic 2 would crush. Put any Mario game in front of me right now, and I'm playing Sonic 2 all day. I'm not
I
getting
love
past
it.
that weird level with the blue slime, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I just Sonic was the first game that I started developing a rage because I would lose all my rings, and then I didn't
Yeah.
know that you could recollect your rings, at least some of them.
Wait, what?
And yeah,
I
so
need a
like when
time
you
machine
lose,
now to go yell at myself as a child.
yeah, because like they'll fall on the ground and they'll blink, and you can gather like two or three of them before you get
Oh,
hit
damn
again.
it. I hate finding out things later on in life. It's like when you're in an argument with someone and like you didn't say something, you think about it later.
Oh yeah, you're in the shower and then you just yell it, and you're like, oh,
Yeah, fuck, I should have said
damn
that.
it.
His nose was
I,
huge.
I also have like a bad habit of like coming up with an argument that I want to tell somebody, and there's like no actual person that I think would have this argument with me, but at least I know if I were to have it, I would win.
Right. Okay, what's
And
one of the arguments? Let's argue with each other.
okay, let's see. The best Power Ranger in the world was the Green Ranger, and there's no way you can change my mind.
Well, we're not going to argue because I fully believe that when he turned into the White Ranger, he got a million times weaker, and he didn't have
Yeah,
the dagger. So
he
next, we
got
got to do
neutered.
argument. Argue about. Yeah,
Well,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
What?
You took away his
Okay.
fastball.
Yeah, man. Like, dude, what beats a dragon flute?
Exactly. If I can play a knife and like a demon comes out or a dragon comes out, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I hated it. I hated
Exactly.
the White Ranger.
Yeah. Okay. So we agree there. That's
Other
the one
than
I've
when they
been
with the
formulating the
ninjas, because
most.
that was hilarious. Because he was White Power Ranger.
Okay. Yeah. Oh man. Oh man. Jason David Frank. I can't believe he is still involved into Power Rangers,
Oh, I love Jason David. That dude's a bad dude too. He's done like MMA.
dude.
He's done like he's a bad dude. He's responded to my tweets one time, like when I was like when Twitter first came out, and I tweeted to him and I was like, "Plays Dragon Flute," and then I put dun 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 dun, and he tweeted me back just ha ha ha, and I was like, "This is the greatest moment of my entire life."
Yeah, you could die like immediately after that.
I was willing to.
I when I was like really young, 17, 18, I recorded a song called the Power Ranger Love Song that's circulating somewhere on YouTube.
Okay, well I got to find that now.
And you'll forget.
It's already
Hopefully,
being written down.
hopefully, hopefully.
Power Ranger love song. It's gonna be my new
And
ringtone.
I found out they actually have a Morphicon
Yeah.
that they do every 4 years, and I was like, what if I just go and like perform it or something?
Oh my
Now,
god.
now to ask me to play it, I don't remember what the chord progression was. I'd have to watch the video, and that requires me searching it, which might make it like active again. And I just don't feel like doing that.
Let's get this trending real quick.
I had the way I did it. I had one of those Logitech like pencil mics. It was like super long, and I
Mhm.
stuffed it into my
Are you
shirt.
Bob Barker? Why do you have one of those?
I stuffed it into my shirt, and it was hanging off of my collar so it would pick up my voice. And then I just played my guitar as loud as I possibly could. I knew nothing about audio or audio engineering or mixing. The
Mm-hmm.
camera I used was a literal potato. You can make out pixels of my face and stuff.
Oh,
That's about
nice.
it. Yeah, it's dude. It was there was this thing called Blog TV. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It was
I
before
think I
like
have.
it turned into Justin.tv. I think
Oh
that's
no, that's a
which
weird
turned
name
into
change though.
Twitch. Yeah,
Oh,
just
oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah,
turned
yeah,
into
yeah.
Twitch. Yeah, and all you do was go live, and people would be in your chat room, and you would just be ridiculous. You just be ridiculous. That's where Sexy Phil on YouTube got his start. I Justine was on there.
Mm-hmm.
There's, I mean, it spawned like this. That's the era I feel like of the influencers was like Blog TV, but a lot of weird stuff went down on it, and so I think they got shut down. So
Oh, I don't. Any streaming platform you have any regulations on is going to get weird. Hey, let me ask you a question real quick. Um, did you ever have a YouTube page called SURDARTSID?
I don't know what you're talking about, man. That sounds
Oh, okay.
that doesn't.
That's not you then.
No, it's totally me.
Oh, is it? Wow, you were really easy to find. I won't play. I won't play it. I shouldn't have said your name. I'm sorry. I don't want to embarrass you.
Honestly, anyone can go there. I don't even know the login to that account anymore. But I'll randomly check the videos, and they'll get like comments from like Indonesia and stuff, and I'm like, this
You got
is
a lot of views
so
on
dope.
here.
Do I?
I love your homemade shirt too.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you
I
have
wrote
like
on it in
almost
permanent marker.
5,000. Oh man, you have so many good. These are all good comments. There's nothing racist. Oh, never mind. Um, no, these are all. Everyone actually likes it. That's really. I haven't
Oh
heard it yet. I'm gonna
no.
listen to it later. But
I
I do see the
I'm I
microphone.
have to go look right now. Holy got 4.6
That's what I'm
views.
saying.
What?
That's not bad. Not
That's
bad.
crazy. I also have a another one that I did that was I did all my college uh assignments pretty much on,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote a song in our studio called "Love Does Not Exist," and I don't remember the login for this one either, but that one has 27,000 views, and I was like, Jesus, how do I
That one
log in?
sounds like the Power Ranger that fell out of love, and now they're singing that song. Is that a sequel to the Power Ranger song?
It kind of it sounds it's like a producing
Oh,
sequel.
damn.
Yeah, it was
That's when you really
recorded in an
glowed up.
actual studio. Yeah, but
Damn.
I don't know how this stuff actually like became something. I'm happy that it did. I hope that people got to hear it and loved it, but I wish I could interact with them. I don't have any. I have no idea what email I used.
You're watching from outside the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
That.
hope I didn't like call you out or anything. I hope I didn't try to
Oh,
embarrass you with
dude,
that. I
this
just
is the
saw it come
most.
up, and I was like, I got to make sure this is him.
No, you're dude. This is so cool. Because this is like the behind. So I absolutely love it.
Sweet.
Um.
I'm behind you right now, actually, through the
Oh,
glass.
I love it. Where?
We're in the same room together. That's me kissing your neck.
Yeah, dude's long distance stuff's getting real serious lately. I love it. So you've had some guests on your show. Do you have like
Yeah.
a fan favorite guest?
If I had fans, they'd probably like somebody, but the most people I've got people liked was probably my first one, who's Walker. He's a buddy of mine. He's really big into like horror stuff and scary stuff, and that was my first episode. So it has the most listens to it. And I made a joke that he used to work for Hitler. Um, you all right?
I'm dying. I drank
I was
some
gonna
water.
say, oh, that's the worst. And then people tell you, oh, drink some water, and you're like, no, that tried to kill me in the first place.
It does work though. I don't know why it is the thing that tried to kill me, and then when you drink more,
Oh,
it
that's weird.
works. I hate it.
That's really weird.
I hate it. Yeah.
Science. Um, and then not the most recent one, the 2.5 Souls, but my Thanks for Nothing Giving episode, where we kind of just sat and talked. A buddy of mine named Nick was on there, who I've been telling we need to do a podcast because whenever we go somewhere, we're always just talking shit and talking stupid stuff. Some people have told me that one's pretty good. But
I actually like the horror guy in the beginning.
mhm.
When you guys were talking about the Mothman.
Yeah,
It's
he's
like
super
there's a
into that
dude.
stuff, which I think is awesome. Yeah, I was like, there's just a dude that's a moth. Yeah, people don't realize that when they come on my show and they want to talk about something that they're really into, or like me advertising for my show, I'm gonna make a joke about you. I'm gonna put jokes in there because people need to realize that this is a comedy podcast. Um, like this next guy coming up, I said he looked like a up and coming Bond villain, and I took one of his pictures where he's wearing like the biggest fucking turtleneck I've ever seen in my entire life. Um, he hadn't said anything mad about it yet, so hopefully he's not upset. But you're gonna come in and you're gonna say like, I mean, for the most part, my episodes are like I said, something we're never on track for anything. But that one was kind of like our first. I was my first one. Actually, technically, that's my second one. I have a lost tapes episode somewhere in my computer. I can't switch over because the recording thing I used didn't transfer it correctly. So there's audio files in my computer from my very first episode. It wasn't that funny anyway. It's not a big deal. But yeah, no, Walker's really cool. My favorite thing from the episode has to be we stopped and I was like, all right, so do like a quick little like ad read about yourself. Um, and in my mind, I'm thinking he's going to do like 30 seconds, and he does like 3 minutes of advertising for him and his business, which is hilarious to me. I just sat there, let it happen. I was like, whatever. But that's probably the funniest part, other than yeah, Mothman and how he made it work for Hitler at one point.
That's so good. I still get when are you bringing your wife back on? I was like, she was on like 2 episodes ago, and then and they're like, yeah, but she's like the best part of the podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I agree. I don't disagree
Yeah,
with you.
it's not fine. I don't work hard on this by myself. That's fine.
She is so helpful. I won't lie. She's like always reaching out to people that she thinks I would like to interview.
Oh,
That she knows on her end, and she's super helpful in that sense. She also is worried every time I try to like talk her into doing an episode. She's like, "We're not going to have anything to talk about," and then a whole hour later of recording, and all I asked was the one question.
mm-hmm.
I just asked, "Hey, so how did we meet?" And then she went full force, and it was absolutely beautiful. I was like, "This is the perfect guest. I don't have to do much."
Right. Yeah. Whenever I have someone like a lot of times when I was trying to grow my, podcast, I just put on Facebook and so I'm like, hey, who wants to be a guest? And you have all those people that reach out and you're like, well, you're not that funny. So I don't know. I'm not going to reach out back to you. But, people are always worried. They're like, what if I don't know what to say? Or what if I'm like, dude, it's a conversation. Like you're going to say something and I'm going to retort it and we're going to go off on a tangent about, whatever else. And going back to, I'll backtrack too. Like you mentioned about how the biggest things is getting those guests on, but people are going to freak out, not know what to talk about. But it's like as long as you're carrying the conversation, it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah. I'm like 1,000% worried to be on another person's podcast because I'm so used to being in the interview seat, and it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
my job to come up with questions. And I got invited to be on a supernatural spiritual like
Oh,
ghosts
nice.
and stuff. I'm a huge skeptic, and I let them know like, hey, I'm a huge skeptic. I'm like Fox Mulder though. I want to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this is like my story, and they're like, "Cool, we'll have you." And I was like, cool, okay." I think that I hope you guys have some deep prodding questions because all I can say is I have no evidence of of actual
Yeah.
activity.
Yeah, I would be terrible to be on those because I don't believe in ghosts and stuff like that. I love hearing stories about it. It's really interesting to me. And but like I used to work at this restaurant, and there were some of the servers there were like, oh yeah, some spirit, some like blah blah blah, and all this other stuff. And I was just sitting there like really trying not to laugh. And I told them that my one of my goals for content creating is to create a ghost hunting show. But it just follows one guy, this super super gay guy, and he instead of like getting ghost out, he like bitches them out so they leave, which they thought
Dude,
was yeah exactly right. um
that's that's comedy right there.
exactly
I
he
would
would
watch
just
the
bitch them out, and
hell
then
out of
I'd
that
have
show.
the ghost would be gay too, so it'd be like a back and forth. Or you'd have like the one really old ghost that died like before, that didn't really believe in gay people and stuff, and so he'd be the harder one to get out. I mean, the guy was down for it. So, but yeah, that ghost hunting stuff, I would be terrible about being on a serious podcast because I was kind of worried about being on this one because I'm like, if he asks me serious questions, I'm gonna try to turn it into jokes as a defense mechanism because answering serious questions is hard.
Bro, that's man. I think the whole point of this podcast is that there is no point.
Okay, dude,
Uh,
good.
yeah,
That's
I
perfect then.
yeah. All I want to do is learn about people, and I feel the best way to do that is just ask them. And
Mm-hmm.
whether you're gonna give me like serious answers or you're gonna give me anecdotes or you're gonna spin it as a joke is just as important as any other interview. And you are involved in something I do find interesting. I Comedy has been a life grace for me. It's been the thing that has made me not want to end it all, or
Right, right, right.
these are whether you think it's that serious or not. I think comedy is a blessing on this world, and you are involved in that, so you definitely are somebody to speak to.
Oh, I appreciate that, and I definitely believe that too. Everyone has their own escape, whether it's music, comedy, wrestling, podcasts, whatever it is. There's always that one thing that they always see people post like, "Oh, your music saved me," da, da, da. But like for the most part, there's real people out there that are like, "Yeah, dude, if this wasn't out, like things would have gotten really dark because it was my escape from the real world." But that's what I like about comedy. I try not to take things super serious, no matter how dark things do get. I try to make a joke out of everything, which my girlfriend hates. But it's just like one of those things. It's my or your escape from reality because life fucking sucks. So if I can laugh about something instead of being worried about if we're gonna get blown up next week or die of a pandemic, I'm gonna make a joke about something.
Yeah, no, that's right on the money. My wife is the same. I have this issue of she'll say something and I'll instantly retort back with something funny and not answering what she asked at all. And then I'm at the point now that I'll do it, and then I'll be like, okay, hold on, here's the real answer. Don't get mad.
Yeah, I need to get there really quick because I was helping her bake cookies and stuff, which I thought was something that you can do for fun. Apparently, it was taken seriously because it was for her work friends. Um, but everything she was saying, I was retorting back with something, or she asked me a question, and so at the end of it, I just had to be like, I answered something really quick with a comment, and I was like, actually, no, I meant to say, because it just kind of slips out.
Yeah,
But
and I mean, it also goes to like our significant others. They eventually will accept it. They'll be like, okay, this is just them. And then my wife also is starting to pick up on it, and she'll do the same thing now.
right,
And I'm falling more and more in love with her as she gets to that point. And she's the one that taught me how to be empathic to others because I
hmm
was very callous and very, oh, your mom does that, or it's making stupid jokes all the time.
yeah.
And now I'm actually listening to people, and I do the jokes in my mind,
Oh, of course.
and then I filter them, and I'm like, can this be said out loud and not hurt their feelings? And it sounds like it's a process, but it happens within like 0.5 seconds,
Right, right, right.
uh but I mean, I think that comedy isn't just an art form, but it's also a way of communication.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I'm kind of the same way. Like I try to take things serious. If something is serious, I can be serious, like depending on what's going on. But if you say something and I can make a joke out of it, or I'm going to retort with something that's going to be funny, or I think it's going to be funny, I'm going to say it. It kind of just slips out. There's always a saying that I don't think before I speak. I want to be just as surprised as everyone else at what comes out. Um, but for the most part, I do try to kind of like maybe I shouldn't say that, which
Yeah.
doesn't happen a lot. But um, I will say, interview process wise, you're doing amazing. I've never been interviewed before that wasn't by a police officer, so this is really good. Um,
Oh, well, about that.
oh shit!
No, I'm just kidding.
I told you so much. Not even being recorded yet. You were like, "What's that red button?" Don't worry about it. No, but whenever, because we do have to have you on. I definitely have to have you on the Don't Tell My Mom podcast. But I can go ahead and promise you, and you've already listened to episodes. I might ask you one question, but then we're gonna go into just tangents about like everything. So,
Yeah, I got some "Don't Tell My Mom" type stories, so we're
oh,
ready to.
perfect.
I'm already ready to go. There is one thing though that even though it is a serious thing, I physically am incapable of being serious about it, and that's funerals. I just start giggling uncontrollably, and I have to excuse myself at least once. And I feel so awful because I don't want to be that guy that's like laughing maniacally at a funeral, because
Yeah.
I did care about the person that's up there. And it's hard to explain that to people because they're like, well, your actions speak otherwise. It's like, well, my actions are uncontrollable sometimes, you know?
Yeah, it's just how I mean, people grieve different ways. You know, if you're is a way to find light in there, which a lot of funerals are kind of meant to be like, oh, I need to find. We're supposed to celebrate a life. We're not supposed to be sad someone died. We're supposed to celebrate a life. It's kind of why we're all here together and all joined together and stuff like that. But I completely understand what you mean, because I'm one of those guys that I ask a lot of what would you do questions. Like I'll be sitting at the pew and I'll lean over and be like, what would you do if he just like got up right now out of the casket, just to see to see what someone would say. My girlfriend
I
hates
got,
it. We're watching
I got
TV
it.
and like they'll like a romantic movie and they'll be like ice skating together, and I'll be like, what would you do if like they just fell face forward and busted their skull open? And she's like, can we just watch something without you adding
Dude,
commentary to it? But I mean, it's one of those things. Like, why should I sit there and cry that they're not here anymore when I can celebrate that? Like, holy shit, we had like such a good time together and stuff like that. And the person
yeah,
I know that's dead would be dying laughing if I asked them the same question if you were in that casket.
exactly.
I always tell people when I die, I don't want my funeral to be sad. I want it to be like a roast. I want them to roast me while I'm in my casket.
That's a really good idea. I always said that I want you to hook me up to like a wire rig, and like in the middle of someone's eulogy, just bust out Thriller and make my body jump out of the casket and do the dance
Right?
and just watch. I don't know if there is an afterlife. I mean, I believe there is one. I do follow that faith, but if I get to watch it from heaven,
Right.
hopefully heaven, and and I just get to see people's reactions, I would live, or I don't know if that's called living. I would just spend the rest of eternity just laughing to myself, because
Right.
that would be the most amazing thing to watch. I think catching
Right.
people off guard is one of the most beautiful things. The only way you'll ever know somebody is if you put them in a situation where they're uncomfortable.
Oh,
And
exactly.
because that's when they have to be their true selves and they act only by instinct. And I love it. I absolutely love that kind of stuff.
I've thought of so many funerals, like how I wanted to go, or like how I wanted my funeral to go. One was like a Viking funeral where you just send me off in a boat and try to shoot an arrow. But then I was thinking it would be hilarious, like they continue to try and shoot fire arrow. No one I know has a shoot a bow and arrow, so I just picture them missing every single time, or like hitting something that shouldn't be hit, or like the flame goes out. Then I wanted like a Jedi funeral, want to be burned in front of everyone. And then at one point I was like, just play Cotton Eye Joe on repeat, and whoever stays the longest gets all my stuff. So it's like
Dude, that's
either one.
so. Oh man, this is golden. I don't know if you ever seen Game of Thrones. I know people either watched it, or people just completely escaped that part of pop culture. But if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna ruin one scene. There is a scene where it's like a Viking funeral, and they send the boat off, and there's a dude that keeps missing with the arrow, and it's I think they make it seem like a sad thing, and I'm literally laughing my ass off. I can't breathe. I'm crying, and the one of the main guys is like, I'll do it, and he just gets up and does it in one shot. But I'm like, I was losing it. The guy that kept missing looked so uncomfortable. He looked like he was like, I'm letting my entire ancestor down.
Yeah, you're a disappointment. Like I would get up out of the boat and be like, dude, come on.
You
But
could
yeah,
throw.
that would just be hilarious. Like just put some oil or gas in my boat and shoot me with a like fucking AR-15 or something. Do it New Age style.
Yeah, man, just anything. Actually, you just prompted a good idea for a podcast. Like, Why So Serious, where we watch a serious movie, and then you just come up with those weird scenarios halfway, like, or in
Oh my god,
between.
that sounds. I'm okay. I'm quitting all my other podcast. Let's do that one.
That would sound so fun. And we could do stupid movies like How Harry Met Sally, or whatever, Notebook, or whatever, like serious
Oh
movies
yeah.
these people love because they like hit their emotions, and to be like, oh, what what if he just killed her, like, right right
We
then
have to
and
watch
there.
like Old Yeller, or like Where the Red Fern Grows, or some shit like that. Yeah, what if that dog just started humping that other one while it was dead? It'd be our own spin on like Mystery Science
There you
for
go.
sure. That's not. Yeah,
Except Mystery
that
Science,
sounds
they at
great.
least pick those kinds of movies. They pick like the weird, already weird movies, and then they just riff on how bad they are.
Right.
I'm really glad that that is a series that's still going. I'll be honest though, I don't watch it. I just like that there's
I haven't seen
people
it in a
out there
while.
doing it. Yeah,
Yeah, I've not seen it in a while, but yeah, definitely doing like some serious or sad movies and Oh my god, that sounds perfect. We have to do that.
I think that's gonna have to get in the works. You heard it here live, folks.
Yeah, origin story.
Yeah. All right. So I want to be a little respectful of your time,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna send you a link through Discord.
Okay.
Jesus, a huge link. But it's such a small thing. You should see a dice roller pop up when you click it.
All right. I feel like an old person right now. Let me just look here. Holy
Got to get
shit!
my glasses.
Seem like 5 links in one. All
I
right,
know.
clicked on it. Roll dice. All right.
Okay, so there should be a blue dice right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's like big. Just click on it and it'll disappear.
Okay.
So we're gonna click the orange one, but not yet.
Okay.
This is actually a scenario. So, like I said, I started this as a D&D podcast. This is the only aspect of D&D that I'm really keeping in it. Besides, I do interview some dungeon masters.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there's an emergency. One of us is
Okay.
being called. Um, Joe Rogan podcast is down,
Oh my god.
and he can't continue it.
Monster
He said,
Energy's stocks have plummeted.
"Yeah, everything. MeUndies is panicking. Everybody's having issues." And they said the only way is to call one of us to continue, and we're gonna roll for it.
Oh my god.
So you're gonna get to roll first. I finally have won one. Uh, I did one with the politician,
Mm-hmm.
and well, she's not a politician. She's a councilwoman. She
It
doesn't
was
say
rigged.
she's a politician, and it was it was the federal government is in contact with aliens, and they want somebody to talk to them. And I told her, I was like, I've lost every single roll on this show. So prepare to yourself to talk to aliens. And then she rolled a 5, and I ended up winning. And now I have to go talk to aliens at some point in time. So you're the guest. I would love for you to go first.
All right. So just click the orange one.
Yep.
All right. 15.
Oh, damn it. Okay, so I'm doing
So
mine.
fucking good at this.
Cool. I got a 1. So I'll be your young Jamie.
Yeah.
It
Pull that
looks
video
like
up for me real quick.
no, not that one. No, the other.
Oh.
Scroll down. Scroll
Yeah.
down. I'm reading.
Yo, you guys see that video? There's 2 apes just fighting each other. Jamie, will you pull that up for me real quick?
I don't think the YouTube will let us. We'll just mute it and pull it up anyway.
Yeah, that's what I love about his podcast. They'll be like, yeah, so like, life was really tough. Like, growing up, there were a lot of street fights, because my mom died. And he'll be like, yo, Jamie, look at this, dude. Have you ever seen this video? I'm like, dude, let him talk. Which I think is fucking hilarious. I'm like, yeah, dude, pull that video up real quick, though.
It's so
Love
good.
shit like that.
I love that he moved to Austin. He's only 4 hours away.
Oh, yeah.
So I can finally maybe go see him. He wants to open a comedy club here in Texas.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I don't think there's a huge one that is like a staple yet. So I think he's about to be a revolutionary in that, and so that's going to be exciting. But Hunter, this is your time to tell us the truth of why did your dad run for presidency? And I'm just kidding.
Well, I could answer this for either side, honestly. I'm sure I come up with a great answer for either one. Well, he definitely ran, but it wasn't for presidency. It was more running away. Anyway, what was your question? What was the next one?
So this is like your red carpet. Go ahead and let people know where to find you, where they can reach you, where your podcast lies, anything else you want them to know. This, plug everything you possibly can.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so my podcast is called Don't Tell My Mom Podcast, or Don't Tell My Mom. It's on Spotify, Anchor, and like 50 other fucking places. You can follow on Twitter. My Twitter is Hunter Luke E. My podcast Twitter is DTMM Podcast. I have another one for my business. I do social media advertising and stuff, but that's kind of whatever. On Instagram, I'm at the_elf_man. If you ask questions because of my ear, I have a little elf ear that's natural. It's the last thing
Wait,
my dad left me.
what?
Other than yeah, so my left ear has like a point to it, so it's like I'll send you a picture. Waist up this time. Instagram, you can follow me on Don't Tell My Mom podcast, and then we do have a Patreon. Patron? What is it? Patron? Patreon. It's patreon.com. Don't Tell My Mom podcast. There's different tiers. We do like early episodes. You can get for like just $1 a month, and all that fun stuff. So I think that's everything.
That's awesome, dude. Now that you mentioned the elf here, I'm definitely gonna have to have you back because that's straight. You're a half elf. You're a D&D character.
I'm Half Blood Prince. Yes, that's correct. That probably wasn't
Yeah,
right. I'm sorry. I don't. I've been wanting to get into that, but I don't have friends that do it. So
I
if I
just
make
lost
a
my
joke
whole
about
nerd
it,
community.
I meant fuck. Look, I'm very strong in the Chex Notes Force Ghost. No,
I
I'm
love
kidding. I'm kidding. I love Star Wars and stuff like that.
it. Well, guys, thank you again for coming back. You guys can reach us at BT Behind on Twitter. If you guys are involved in something interesting, or you know somebody that's involved in something interesting, or you have a dope, interesting story, or you just want to tell me about your life, email us at btbehind@gmail.com. If you're already listening to this, you already know where you can find us, but we're on Spotify. I think we're on Stitcher. I think we're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or iTunes, or whatever it's called. We also do this live sometimes, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Twitch. When I'm not playing video games, I'll be recording a podcast on there. And if you just want to watch me lose at a whole bunch of games that other young people are really good at, that's also a form of entertainment. But again, thank you guys for listening, and hope to see you again soon. Welcome. Welcome. Behind the Behind. Welcome. What's your story? Behind the Behind. You're a hero. Welcome. Where are we going? Behind the what? Behind the Behind.